Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Kevin Huffman joins me as we get it kicked off, ready for racing at Oulton Park today. I want to thank everybody for being here. Kevin, how are you?
I am okay, sir. What about yourself, man?
I am doing great. It's a wonderful weekend. It's cold up here in northern New York. Not where we're driving today as we wait for Will to bounce this server one last time. I know you're on the road today, though, so glad you could be here, even with being out traveling. I assume you're not driving and, like, at the same time, right?
Negative. Not at the moment. No.
We'll make sure you're not out weaseling somewhere. You're driving down the road watching a race at the same time.
Don't text and drive. Don't watch BoX3 races and drive.
That's right. We don't need that. We do not need that aggravation from anybody. Oh man, and Blue's starting up. That's great. He's already starting his business. So we are here for, again, we're racing a standard race today at Oulton Park. Actually the last two races of the PC season coming to a wrap here. Oulton Park today. We got Barcelona next week. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But we are ready to go. And as I said, just waiting on Will to kick over that server, and we'll join live for free practice and qualification. But I got to wait for word from him. He's in charge today.
He is. It feels nice just to sit back and do nothing for a change. Appreciate it, Will. You're the man.
Green light.
Will is a good dude, able to jump in there and help out today. Obviously not easy. I got to say, and I'll take a minute to mention it, like you said, big thanks to Will for being able to jump in there today and do that. But you have to admit, like, you're the man that puts the effort into this. It's not easy, right?
No, it's not easy, man. And it takes a team. I'm one small cog in the wheel and the gear that is Box, and a lot of pieces coming together to make this all work.
Yep, 100%. We lost you a little bit there, but I just want to take a moment and thank you personally, because like I said, I don't think this PC side I don't think would be coming together without your efforts and building it up the way you have. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, my dude. And as we take a look, Nugget is out on track today in the Lexus 310 Motorsports.
Let's go, Nug.
Remco Oulton, Spinning Experts, is out. Remco joined by a different teammate today. Red Ryder, his normal teammate, out on vacation. We've lost a few guys to vacation this week, but filling in for Red will be Mr. Dylan Dunn in the Audi. So we'll see how Dunn does today at Oulton Park. Now, personally...
Yeah, Dunn's a good driver, but I've never seen him do anything at Oulton, so I'm curious to see how he'll do today.
And before we run down through the rest of these, we're going to take, we're just in free practice now anyway, but I'll tell you what, not one of my favorite circuits, and because I drive an Audi, that's my main, right? And this is a bouncy track, and it's a narrow track.
Yes, it is.
It's small. So where are the pass points on this circuit? Like, where do we see the main pass points here? Because there's not a lot of room to get around the GT3 cars are not gigantic. But this can be such a narrow course in places.
For sure. Basically, the passing opportunity lies in the driver making a mistake ahead of you. That's obviously the first place to go. But there's a couple, similar straight sections, or just some corners where you really gotta get that James Baldwin send and just take it up the inside. What I mean? So gonna be a lot of aggressive sends. Hopefully they keep it clean, but you just gotta be obvious. Let the driver ahead know you're doing.
Give them that indicator. Let them know you're coming. And like you said, wait for them to make that mistake, right?
That's right.
Tobias Gable back out on track today. Will Green returns. I watched Will a little bit during some practice before today's session, and took that green literally, tried mowing some grass, so we'll see how he does during the race today. Will, probably our only driver on track who's actually been to Oulton Park live in real life, right, and has actually put tires to this circuit. So always interesting to see these British tracks with Will, because he was a motorcycle racer. He has real world experience on him, and obviously motorcycles much different than GT3 cars, much different than sim racing. You know, I'd love to talk to him at some point about what do you feel is the same? Are the break points realistic? Like, you know, we talk about, is it a sim or a game?
We haven't really talked, like, we haven't tracked specific things with him, but just a lot of the driver mentality, a lot of the mindset is still the same. So I'm sure that part of it translates over.
Anthony Anderson returns in the Lexus. EJ back on track as well in his 969 Porsche.
And we're seeing a lot of mix between Pro Silver and we call them rookies, but just because it's a red badge doesn't mean that they're slow. That just means that they don't participate in the league, the team standing.
In the team standings,
they
right?
Don't be new. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Seeing quite a good mix today, though.
Absolutely.
Pretty fairly balanced.
And I noticed, again, we talked about it before, and, there's Justin Scheffer, but the number of BMWs on track has gone down quite a bit, hasn't it?
That is correct, yeah. That's that new BOP update they did really, I think it made it fair. I think it's very balanced right now. Yeah. It's at a good point in the game, I feel, so.
Well, and I think we saw that last week, and even now we're seeing it as we look down that list on the left-hand side. We've got a Porsche, and again, we're in free practice. This counts for nothing. The guy's just out getting some laps. But free practice, We've got a Porsche, a BMW, and a McLaren all in the top 3. We were not seeing that for the entire first half of this season, where it was BMWs P1 through 8 usually, right? So
100%, yeah.
Really good to see that there's some mix of manufacturers up there now.
Yep.
EJ back out
I
this
feel
week.
like the Porsche is going to do really well here today, though. I feel like it's very well suited for that kind of car.
Yeah. And there he is. Dylan Dunn returns in the only Audi on track today. Mr. Steven from the Green Beast, Team Green Beast, back out there in Oulton. And Tom Foose returns. We take a quick look. I got Huff here, and he's got a relatively decent connection right now. Let's take a look real fast. Again, this is the penultimate race for this season of BoX3 Motorsports PC League, the inception. We're back next week at Barcelona, 8 p.m. UTC, 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be able to catch all that action right here. Another standard race, 45 minutes, 1 mandatory fuel pit stop. We'll roll out the end of Season 1 on the PC side in Spain. Speaking of, let's take a quick look as well. After the Nürburgring race last week, Anderson and DJ sitting up top in the point standings, followed closely by Tom Foose and your boy Blue. Ottens and Red currently sitting in through again in third. And as I said earlier, Red not able to participate this week, possibly not next week. Mr. Dylan Dunn taking over for Team Spinning Experts. But when I look at those point totals and we look at the point countdown at the bottom of what these guys earn per race, the top 3 are really all in contention right now. And any one of these guys is going to be able to jump in very quickly and take over for the whole season.
Yeah. Thompson back there, what are they? They're roughly 6 points behind right now. So look for him to do well today. Blue being out, so he's going to get a random number generated result. So he's going to be playing to the gods this weekend.
Gotcha.
Hoping they're in his favor.
Absolutely. So there we have it. And the racing doesn't end just because Barcelona is the end of Season 1 for PC next week. We also start Season 2 of our Xbox League on Saturdays, 7 p.m. UTC, 2 p.m. Eastern. Qualification will start at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UTC for these drivers. They'll have a full hour to qualify before the race. We will pick up coverage about 15 minutes before each race. And as you see, a little bit different format. We are doing our best to follow the GT World Challenge schedule with endurance and sprint races. Sprint races, 1 hour, 1 mandatory pit stop. Endurance races will be 2 hours and 2 mandatory pit stops during those races for Season 2 of our Xbox League. We start off next Saturday in Monza, quickly followed by a sprint race in Brands Hatch the week after. Really excited to put that Xbox season together. We have a full list of drivers. Xbox, you know, for those who don't know, Xbox servers can only handle 20 drivers at a time. That's the most you can have. That's the absolute maximum limit. We are full right now with a couple of reserve drivers waiting in the wings who want to be able to jump in and race as well. So hopefully we're going to be seeing some really full races during the course of the Xbox season. And I don't know if you saw it on there, and I don't know the exact date off the top of my head without looking, but we will be running the 24 hours of Spa during our Xbox season this time around. That 24-hour race will take place over the course of 4 hours with a 6x time multiplier. 2 driver teams running 2 hours each. Should be very interesting. It'll be a nice long race on the Xbox side. Really give these guys a chance to get an endurance race in. As free practice rolls to an end, let's just take a look to give us an idea here of what things look like real quick. And again, doesn't mean anything, but we want to take a look at what kind of times. Deep Pickett up front right now with that 135 flat. Will Green right there with another 135. So our top 4 drivers all in that 135 range. We've seen some 134s here before, so we'll see if anyone can hit that during qualification today. Kevin Silvaris looks to finish out qualification today. Or I'm sorry, free practice. We'll get ready for today's qualifying session. Yeah, hats off to Namaste Maru in chat, because Namaste has been instrumental in helping get some things together, including giving up his spot in the Xbox season to allow another driver to jump in and race this season. Absolutely fantastic to see, and great to see that the growth on that side, as Blue said. So Huff, let me ask you, are you back?
Yeah, man, I'm back.
Okay, so just let me ask you, what is the, and this is just talking about down in the future, who knows how far, what's the limit on PC servers?
As far as capacity, like drivers allowed?
Yeah. What's the max out there?
There's a couple things that go into factor there. I think the largest track, I'm going to say Suzuka, I believe it allows 65 individual cars. So you can have, 3 or 4 drivers per car. So do the math there. But I believe it has the largest connections available.
Okay.
And then Suzuka route, this spot has a large one. But
I'm
not sure what.
I lost you. You got muffly. I think you said 65 drivers though.
And that is for Suzuka only.
Oh, okay. So it's track dependent then. All right, gotcha.
Correct. Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just curious at what point we have to have 2 separate PC races, which I really, as much as you love to see the growth, you want to see as many people driving as possible. You don't want that though, right? You don't want to split people up. I want to see full paddocks every week.
For sure. Yep.
And the PC side has been great for that thus far, where we've been able to see so many people out on track. I mean, today we're looking at what do we have today? 18 drivers. So as the season's gone on, it's gotten a little smaller, but still 18 drivers is a great number, especially on a course as short and as tight as Oulton. I can't imagine having 45 drivers on this course.
Oh, it'd be nuts, man. Those 18 are going to feel like 50, 60 out there at least.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so small and so tight. I can't imagine 40 drivers.
It is nice, though, to see the Xbox League grow and kind of blow up.
It really did, and I'm very happy about it. I mean, I don't race on Xbox myself anymore. A lot of guys who joined the league, came in as Xbox, have moved now over to PC. So it's good to see that we're able to replace that. Now, what's going to get very interesting is, again, that next gen update comes out this month, February 24th or 22nd. You know, there's talk of, well, now we can do 30 driver servers. The problem with that is anybody on an Xbox One can, you know, they won't be able to join. They're completely delegated to those 20 maximum driver servers. And that's what really sucks about that is I refuse to split the community to add more drivers. I just don't think it's right to do to people. You know what I mean? So it'd be great if we could go to 30, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen right away. So
I wish we could get some clarity as to what it is exactly they're going to do with the console. You know, is it going to be like new gen only, or is it going to be both? Or, you know,
yeah,
you wouldn't think they would split up both of them. That would be horrible.
Yeah, I hope not. I know with Wreckfest, you know, we've done Wreckfest events in the past, and I know with Wreckfest, it's basically you can run 24 car servers, but in order to join it, you have to be on the next gen console. If you're on an Xbox One, you cannot join. You know, you're basically, again, relegated to only go to the 16-player servers. And I think it'll be the same here. So as long as we keep that 20 driver limit, we should be okay for everybody to race. That's my hope, anyway.
And yeah, obviously, in chat saying that the most BoX3 are on the Series X, which is, you know, that's a good thing. But most isn't all, and we don't want to be exclusive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's, I mean, look, you reach that point where, you know, maybe we take a poll from the Xbox side, and there's like 30 guys that are on Series X, and there's 2 that are on Xbox One. Well, what do we do then, right?
Right.
Do they all want to drive? Well, we got to know if you want to drive. Because if we can only draw 20 people, we might as well make sure we can include those guys that are on 1X. So, because we watched Tobias Gable into qualifying. So our lap time's now coming in. And as I said, we have seen 134s here, and there it is. Tom Foose setting a 134.2. Tom not even going out during the free practice in that BMW M6. He has made that thing sing all season, even around those M4s. Has done a great job.
And that's low 134.
Yeah, Keysar,
I wasn't expecting that from him.
Yeah, he's very quick today. Keysar setting a 134.9, so still getting under that 135 mark. Our other drivers out past the 135 mark, but not that far. Still looking very tight up front. Tom Foose holding sectors 1 and 2, while Keysar holds sector 3 right now, as these will continue to change throughout the next 15 minutes of qualification today. Daniel Pickett out in the pink pig Porsche. Santos now squeaking around Keysar with a 134.960. Keysar's 9.75. Last week's winner, Tobias Gable, currently sitting at a 136.3. I'll be curious to see if he can tighten that up. Right now, running 0.8 faster. Just under 0.8 faster than his last lap. Again, last week's winner at the Nürburgring. Currently sitting in 11th.
Yeah, just a fantastic job from him last week.
Absolutely, and especially, we saw some real action last week, didn't we? With that incident that occurred between there was a back marker and Tom Foose. You know, Foose was chasing Gable down hard during a lot of that race.
Yeah.
And finally they got caught up in traffic. And, you know, I said it last week and I'll say it again. It's a shame to see that. You don't want to see traffic cause those kinds of incidents that slow somebody down, because we had such a great battle going. And, you know, Tom gets hung up in traffic, bumps the back marker, comes over into Tobias, bumps him, and Tobias able to get away, but Tom getting hung up and just ended the battle that we were watching. That was so much fun.
Yeah. things happen sometimes.
James Nugget Bising out on track today in that fancy Lexus.
And I got to say, that video that he put together for, the little promotional thing in that particular car that he's got on right now, he did a fantastic job with that.
Absolutely.
And that looks so cool.
Yeah, 100%. That was great content to put out there. For Alive, thank you so much for the raid. 8 people coming in. Everybody coming in from Tora's stream. Please, by all means, stay true to your stream. Don't forget. But if they're not on and you enjoy ACC racing, this is where to find it. My name's Adam. I'm joined by Kevin Huffman.
Welcome in, Tora, guys.
Welcome to all those streamers. We are here to cover our Oulton Park race today of our PC ACC League. If you want to learn more about us, exclamation point box in the chat. I'll tell you all about this league. Stretching it out even further now, Tom Foose down to a 133.7 has put himself into the pits, but Will Green as well has joined him down there, 133.882. Tom holding on to sector 2, Will with sector 1, but Kisar still holding sector 3 at a 25.428 out there, still in the 134 range, 134.262. So time's really starting to come down. And again, I love seeing the mix of manufacturers we have up front compared to what it was early in the season against that M4. And I'm going to keep saying it because that thing was so overpowered when they introduced it. I think a lot of guys were getting discouraged that they couldn't drive the car they wanted to drive and feel like they were going to be successful. And now they have that opportunity.
Yep. I was one of those guys that got discouraged, man, because I don't like to jump on what's popular and to drive the best car in the game. And it was definitely the best car in the game for, what was it, 2 months or so, something like that.
Yep, 100%. It was brutal because again, we were watching we were watching our timing screen every week, and it was just the whole top 10 was full of M4s, and it was just brutal for these guys.
The real question is there, how much did Fanatec pay Kunos 505 to get that extreme BOP?
Leave it alone for a little while?
Yep.
Listen, we got to sell some of these $1,400 wheels. We're just going to leave it for a few minutes, okay?
100%, dude.
Kev Shalis out in the McLaren today as these guys look to qualify. Just under 10 minutes left to go.
Yeah, he's a new driver too, the Kevin Shalis. This is his first race with us, so looking forward to seeing how
I thought he was here last week, but I could be very wrong.
So. Yeah.
Okay.
I could be wrong as well. But anyway, he's newer, so welcome.
Absolutely. Welcome to all the new drivers we have. Getting to know these guys, and it's always hard when new ones come in because you don't know they're a wild card until you get to know them out on track. Here's one himself, Dylan Dunn, the only Audi on track today. So Dylan, my automatic favored to win. Currently sitting in 16th with a 136.7. Take a look real quick. 9 minutes left to go. Tom Foose sitting at the top of the list so far in qualification. I don't know how long that'll hold with Will Green quickly chasing him down. But a 133.7, very impressive in the BMW M6. Will Green again right there in second at a 133.8. Those two are going to be very, very competitive today during the course of this 45-minute race.
Hey, look at Rob up there in P4. Good to see him up there.
Porsche up there.
Keep in mind, he's a silver driver sitting up here swinging with the big dogs.
Yes, he is. Excellent to see all these guys out today running hard. Remco Ottens currently sitting in 8th. The 135.145. Pink Pig Porsche we see sitting there on the track. Daniel Pickett. How did TG get disqualified? We're being asked, Tough. Is that going to get cleared for the race? Hopefully we get Huff back. He'll be able to answer that question. DQs are pretty rare, so I'd be surprised that he actually did anything crazy, and we may be able to clear that out.
All right, what about now? Sorry, I was muted for a bit.
Oh, sorry. TG got DQ'd.
Yep. Read up in chat. He said, I decided not to reset to the pits to practice pit entry, but didn't want to go the long way around, and he cut the green. So it's not going to disqualify him in the race. He will start in the back.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. All right. I saw that message, but I didn't realize it would get him a DQ out of that, so. Renato Feria. One of the few BMWs left on track, currently sitting 14th and with a 136.5. Anthony Anderson out in that very fancy liveried Lexus. I don't think I've ever seen a Paisley livery. Very fancy. And I think Paisley's the only way I have to describe it.
Who's that, Anderson?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice looking livery. Somebody called it the Rock livery in chat. I think it may have been Steadfast or something like that.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it
like,
looks great.
Dwayne
I've just never seen one. It's very fancy. Wilson Fernandez looking to close the gap, has now taken sector 1 purple. Tom Fu still sitting up in first. We will take a look at those times again as times run down. David Soul back in his McLaren this week. Will Green still looking to try and capture pole position. Guys separated by just over 1/10 of a second. If y'all give me 1 second here, folks, we're going to try and clear this out for TG. He did not need that. We're going to flip back over here real quick. I'm going to see if I can pull this off. Probably not, but I'm going to try.
Yeah, we picked a tough week for everybody to be away. Almost all of us are on vacation or gone this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of people traveling. Oh, hold on. There we go. All set. We will get back over here to qualification. Look at that. We just flow with it. TG, you are set to go, sir. We'll set a time now. That gets TG back up into number 10 spot, which is where about where he should be, I would assume. Good to see there. Just over 2 minutes left to go in today's qualifying session. Again, we are at Oulton Park. BoX3 Motorsports, exclamation point chat. Yeah, exclamation point box in the chat. If you'd like to know more about us. Tom Foose now. Tom Foose stringing it down a little lower. Will Green's going to have to make up almost, actually a little over 0.3 of a second, with Tom getting it down to a 1:33.575. Looking very strong out on track today. And once qualification is over, we have locked results. We will start that poll. You all chat can vote on who they believe will be today's overall winner at Oulton Park.
Yeah, I put in a little bit of practice here. I was actually going to do the race myself, but unfortunately was not able to.
Yeah, then you ended up having to be on the road, so.
That's how it goes. Luckily, I didn't. I only put a couple evenings worth of practice in. So.
Yeah.
It is a fun track, I'll say. Very, it's tight.
I do not enjoy this track because it is so bouncy. It's so bumpy. And again, being an Audi person, the Audi doesn't handle bumps well. I mean, it certainly can't eat curbs. And when so knowing its deal with curbs, thinking that it's going to do well on a very bumpy track, really, it doesn't work out well. So I've never really enjoyed Oulton Park myself. Now, in other sims with other cars, I have had a lot of fun here. But not in ACC and certainly not in a GT3 car. But that's just me. And with qualifying done, let's go jump up. There are your times for today. Now, not everyone has crossed the line for the last time. We could see some changes, but right now, Tom Foose will be sitting on the pole in that BMW M6. 1:33.575, Will Green, and just knocked it down a little further, as you see. Tom Foose, 1:33.462 now. Able to knock that down right at the end of today's qualifying. Will Green will share row 1 with him, the 1:33.882. Hernandez and Kisar will be in row 2. Sheffer and Ottens. Ottens now getting pushed to number 6. Sheffer jumping up with that 1:34.397. Anderson and Santos going to share row 4. Jump back to the pits. We're going to get ready for today's race, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a look at those times one more time. Now that they are locked. Daniel Pickett and Tobias Gable going to share row 5 after clearing that penalty. DJ and Feria, these guys got to help me with pronunciation, Huff. I can't do it. Share row 6. Silveris and Beasing, Nugget, row 7. Soul and Dunn in row 8 with Chalice and Steven in row 9. 18 drivers on track today, ladies and gentlemen. We get ready for the start of today's 45-minute race at Oulton Park. Poll has begun. Get your votes in now for who you believe today's overall winner will be You know, Tom Foose set a great time. I mean, that is wickedly fast. Will Green right up there with him in that 134 range. The question's really going to come down to, can Tom remain consistent throughout the entire 45 minutes? And what's going to happen during our pit stops, right? Who's going to undercut? Who's going to overcut? With only fuel being the factor and no tires, hopefully, no damage, right? And no tires.
Yep.
You know, do you load up early and do you go heavy, splash and dash your way and at the 44-minute mark, or you look to undercut, go out light for say 5 laps, try and get ahead, and then dive in early, load up for the rest of the race? It's really comes down to that pit strategy and what these guys are going to do.
For sure. You know, a track like this, I'm not sure how tough it is on the tires. Typically, the British tracks are very tough on your left side and third. And the track is pretty interesting. It's 29 degrees. You don't need to stop in the pits to pull their tires for a bit in the race. A quick splash in that.
Yeah. About all I heard was splash and dash, bud.
Fantastic.
Your mic is playing hell with you today. I will give you that. Oh, and the camera, the helicam puts us right in the trees. That's fantastic. Take a look again. Again, row 1, Tom Foose and Will Green. BMW M6 and that McLaren ready to go. Hernandez and Kisar, row 2. Effer and Ottens, row 3. Anderson and Santos going to share row 4. Pickett and Gable, row 5. DJ and Feria, row 6, with Silverius and Bessing right behind them in row 7. Soul and Dunn, row 8. Chalice and Steven in row 9. Even a very strong driver, though. Interesting to see him that far back, but we'll see if he can work his way to the front. Maybe not as confident here and wants to let people clear out a little bit. He's usually
He's new to the track.
Is he? Okay, because he's usually a mid-pack driver. I mean, you know, does very well, seems very consistent week to week. So it's curious to see him back that far. Again, folks, we'll just throw it up there one more time before the start of today's race. We'll probably talk about it again at the end, but don't forget to come back next week. Barcelona, 8 p.m. UTC, 3 p.m. Eastern, the final race of Season 1 of BoX Motorsports GT3 PC League. Xbox Season 2 kicks off next Saturday at 7 p.m. UTC, 2 p.m. Eastern. Qualifications starting 1 hour before the race. We will join live approximately 15 minutes, about 1:45 p.m. Eastern. 6:45 p.m. UTC. An endurance race at Monza, so you'll be here for 2 hours driving next week with a full paddock from our Xbox side. Absolutely going to be fantastic. Taz Double X, thank you so much for the raid. All of you coming in with Taz, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy it.
30 seconds.
Don't forget, stay true to your streamer, but if Taz isn't around and you want to watch some ACC GT3 racing, you can find it right here.
Seconds.
Who is my pick for today? Namaste asks. Who is my pick for today? I got to go with Foose.
10 seconds.
Love all these guys. I love Will, but I got to go with Foose. He has remained wickedly consistent, but it's all going to happen in turn 1. And look, I don't like saying that because then, you know, guys further back in the pack go, okay, I got to jam it in turn 1. What I mean by that is row 1, turn 1, Foose and Green. It's going to be about who gets out ahead because they're both very consistent drivers, right? So it doesn't even come down to turn 1. It really comes out to the green light and who gets the jump at that point. So we'll see. I think it's going to be either one of those two. Personally, I think Foose is going to carry the day. He's got the inside going into T1, and we'll have to see if he is able to carry that and stay consistent throughout the entirety of today's race. We watch Wilson Fernandez out. That number 88 BMW. Remco Otten's on track. Tobias Gable. Must be happy today because I finally got his livery loaded. Anderson going to pull a pit start today. Looks like.
Wonder if that was intentional. Probably not.
Probably not. Did he not
Rip.
hit drive? Yeah, no idea. He just now started dropping on my board, so I think he was out on track, but no idea what happened. And there is the results of today's poll. Will Green with 67% of the votes. Tom Foose coming in at second at 22. We'll see how the race goes.
Anderson put up a really strong qualifying too. Hate to see him drop back like that.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It's going to look to shake up the team standings a bit too. He's up there fighting.
Well, again, you never know. I mean, coming out of the pits, always rough.
Yeah.
But it depends on the kind of carnage we see in the first lap, right? He may be able to get out and get himself ahead if and not necessarily that things are horrible, but depending on the number of drivers that have to pit and end up with damage versus, again, just that splash and dash or just fuel, it may take a little bit out of him, right? So as we come around here towards the end of the formation lap, the drivers will head for double file. We get ready for the next 45 minutes of GT3 racing in the UK today.
Everybody's favorite DLC.
Everybody's favorite. I do want to thank everybody for watching today. My name is Adam, joined by Kevin Huffman as we get ready to go green. It's a sunny day in the UK. Track is optimum.
Green light, green light.
We are off to the races down into T1. Will Green and Tom Foose gonna battle it out. Green tightening it up, forcing Tom to the inside, not able to take that corner as wide as you might like to. And we're gonna go side by side down into T2. Will gonna get that slight advantage out front now because of being on the inside. Fernandez right there battling with these guys, and Tom able to sneak out ahead as they trade positions several times. Heading into this carousel, Fernandez sneaking around as Will goes wide. Dropping Will back to third now. With Kisar right there, looking to apply pressure, beginning of T1, or lap 1.
Yeah, it looked like an excellent start up front. Nice and clean.
Absolutely, yeah.
Close.
But Fernandez now finding himself in second ahead of Will Green. Tom Foose, however, able to stretch out up front very quickly. The front
Team
of the pack
Foose and Clean Air is a dangerous combo.
Yeah, it is very dangerous because Tom is an extremely consistent driver. What'll really, again, as we discussed earlier, what's really going to play is, you know, the back markers and the pit strategy.
Yep.
Tom now stretching it out 9/10 over Fernandez. Will Green now catching up on the back end of Fernandez and going to look to apply pressure there. Kevin Silvaris able to make the pass on Wiesing back in the back. Nugget losing a position, down currently sitting in 12th. And Silvaris leading a pack of cars, a merry chase with no less than 5 drivers, all within about 2 seconds right behind him. Our front pack starts to spread out. We'll keep our vision right here. Dylan Dunn having gotten himself up into 13th now.
Excellent start for him.
Started in, I believe, 16th. So, yeah, absolutely able to jump up very quickly. Silverius now trying to stretch it out. Nugget, though, fading back a little bit, but under a lot of pressure from Dunn. Dunn on the inside. Oh. Guys dove into the pits on me. My list started going crazy. So Will Green, Pickett, Silvares all into the pits at this point as Dunn makes the pass. Let's jump back real quick, see if we can catch that. Dunn going side by side over the start finish line. Able to take the inside into T1. Dunn now putting himself up into 9th. So Will Green into the pits early.
I didn't see any contact from him. Was that just a strategy play, you think?
I don't know. Soul off track, however, losing position very quickly. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens because I didn't see any contact throughout that lap. And in fact, Fernandez, had gotten far enough ahead of Will, we weren't really watching, right? I wanted to see this battle in the back. And now Will into the pits. We'll have to see how quickly he comes back out, but he is still sitting there. The other two having already come out, which tells me he's not just getting fuel. So that is a shame to see. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk to Will at the end of the race and see what happened. We take our focus up to Remco Otten's now. Over to Kisar. With Sheffer right there. Getting another stack up for P3. Kisar into the pits as well. Allowing Sheffer to jump up. With Otten, Santos, and Gable right behind him. So it's funny because we all talk. You guys, a lot of you guys do public lobbies during the week, things like that. And I was spending some time last night talking to Dylan Dunn. Was very nervous about this race because this is the first time that he's raced this season, right? He's filling in for Red. He qualified 16th and now suddenly is finding himself in P8. So I'm not sure he was ready for that. Otten's now under pressure from Santos and Gable. Yeah, Namaste. There is one mandatory pit, fuel only. Nugget again under pressure. Well, was under pressure from Chalice, but Chalice going very wide into the grass. Losing a little bit of time there. Tobias Gable heads into the pits. Looked like he was ready to make a pass on Santos. Unfortunately, not able to complete that. He now heads into the pits, going in early. Will Green still in pits. It looks like he is out of contention for anything today. Tom Foose continues to lead, but Fernandez right there behind him. Only about 1 second off pace. Tobias Gable now back out of the pits. It looks like he did a splash and dash, gets himself back out into 12th position. Chalice now off track. Tobias able to make up that position, putting himself back into P11. Chalice back on track, but now going to be facing pressure from DJ, Pickett, and Kisar. As DJ makes the move on the inside, brings that Porsche up alongside, able to take that position, moving himself up into 12th. And we see there Pickett now off track again. Or I'm sorry, Chalice off track again as Pickett and Keesar get around. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hello? Hello? I don't know what just happened, Namaste. I just lost. Every driver got disconnected, but I'm still connected to the server. That's very weird. That's very strange. Stand by. Oh, we are restarting due to issues with pit stops. Okay. I did not know. I blame palm tree oil. That's probably a great idea. But we will be restarting this race real quick, folks. Same thing happened during the Torah race earlier today. Entirely possible. I have no idea sitting out here in my world. I don't know what to tell you, folks. Sometimes these things happen when you race online, right? Not real world. The real world can't disconnect you. Unfortunately, online things. It's a little. But we will work to get reconnected. There we go. We'll put that on just to make it a little better. Not so boring. Let everybody know, though. Let's take a look at the standings real quick. Whoop. There we go. I thought it was my internet that went down. I had no clue. Nürburgring standings. There you go. After the Nürburgring race last week. And Anderson and DJ running out front, 324 points. Foose and Blue right there behind him, 318 with Ottens and Red. Red being filled in for by Dylan Dunn this week, 290 points. So all three of those teams in very tight contention to take over E1. Drive me nuts. Nuts. Hurry. Crazy. But we wait. Kevin Huffman in there making adjustments right now. We appreciate y'all sticking around as we wait for the server to come back up. What should we talk about until they come back? Should we talk about the Xbox season coming up? Palm Tree, you gonna win season 2 too? You gonna win season 2 as well, or no? This is what happens, folks. So what happened was the server we use, which there are a couple different ones out there. There aren't a lot. Unfortunately, blew everything out before today's race. I think it was yesterday or something. Just exploded. Well, Huffman, who you heard earlier, is our server admin. The guy's fantastic. Like, it's easy for him. There's really nobody else I mean, Will's working on it. He's learning it. There's a few other guys learning it. The problem is, like, Huff's the one that knows it. Unfortunately, he had to travel for work today. So he's mobile and unable to, like, be right in front of a PC to help with this. And it makes it very difficult. But right now, even my game is not pinging out servers correctly. I'm going to rebounce that real. It's going to be Lewis Hamilton. Oh, my Lord. I don't think you are, Palm Tree. I think you're going to get swatted on. Somebody's gonna jump up and take your cake. A lot of new drivers in the Xbox season. This season 2. It's gonna be absolutely fantastic. Wait, these guys. There we go. My game finally just pinging servers. Get reconnected here. We will be starting directly with the race, folks. This will not start. We're not going back and starting over with qualification. You guys are able to load the drivers in one at a time and make sure.
Green light, go, go, go.
Get right to it. If they did it right. Yeah, 448 qualifying. That'll work. Thank you, Huff. Yep, I'm back in there. I had to drop from the Discord. It was driving me nuts because it keeps cutting off my music. I don't want that. But yeah, we're dropping everybody in order, folks. It'll take just a few minutes here to get all these drivers in. Back in the same positions. The race is going to start in just 4 minutes, 25 seconds. We'll be right back to it. Again, obviously can't account for some of these things. Sometimes things happen. Things blow up. Things break. Get it worked out. We'll be back to her. Beef Blaze is in the chat. So with those 4 minutes left until qualifying starts, folks, I'm going to take a quick step away. Just because, well, I need to real quick before we get this race started. But I will be back in time for race start. We will get it going. Leave you with that bumper, and I will be back to talk to y'all in just a moment. We are back, folks. Go here. Drivers are joining. Got about a minute left. I hope they can all get in. We've got 8 more drivers to drop in there real quick. Get everybody in order. That's not right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, the fun of online racing. Fun times. Fun times. Oh, if I could tell when I looked, I got back here, I stepped in front of the PC and I saw TG sitting in 8th. I don't have the standings, but I do know he was in 10th. All the drivers listening to the stream, do not join the server, please. Wait, go into the voice channel. Go into the voice chat. Wait, join the server when you're told. The easiest way to do this. For all the Xbox drivers that might be watching right now, pay attention. You're going to have to do this during the 4 hours of spa. So pay attention. You go to the VC, you're told when to join. Join. But we can get connected.
Green light, green light. Show them what you got.
Show them what you got. I got nothing. You sitting out here, for me, this stuff happens. I'm used to this from Xbox races in the past with other leagues and such. But the interesting part for me is what makes it so funny is every time the server dumps, my software that I use for camera control and all that stuff, it also disconnects. And I have to I can't just reconnect. I have to actually close it and reopen it. And it makes it a lot of fun. I blame Red. Dunn blames Red. That's probably a good plan. I blame Huff. Traveling for work on a Sunday. I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Red, I do not disagree with you. But you will get no disagreement from me, sir. B99 is here. Thank you so much for being in the chat. I do want to thank y'all for sticking with us throughout this. Obviously, hiccups happen. I want to thank every one of you for being here. Very much appreciated. Hanging out with us. We watch cars drop into pits now. Santos is in. Pickett. Gable. I believe Sheffer did not join, so yeah, we'll put Gable in 9th. That makes sense. Manu, I didn't realize. There's so many different names for everybody, man. Like, you know, everybody's got their Twitch name and their Discord name and their race name, and I get confused. So I'll forget. I'll still call you B99. I'll still call you B99. Don't worry about it. But I'll try to remember Manu. I will do my best to remember. I will probably fail, but I'll. Fun times are in the offing. Yeah, I know Manu's the livery wizard. I'm going to have a talk with Manu. Not for ACC. iRacing. Of course, Dunn is too busy driving. There we go, folks. 17 drivers in. It looks like Sheffer did not join back in today. So that'll give us 17 drivers. And we've got a little under 6 minutes left until race time starts. Gotcha. No, Manu, don't worry. There's templates and all that stuff out here. I just don't have any design. I want to say skill, ability whatsoever. Like, you know, I can't do it. Don't TG. See, you can't drive during the qual. You got to stay in your. Why is he doing loop-de-loops? Just doing a quick check, man. I don't see anything on my end. It looks good. But yeah, you may want to keep an eye out. Hey, to all the drivers that are watching, please stay in your lanes. Just sit. Forwarding to next session. Perfect. Thank you. There we go. Stay in your lane. Just close my eyes and draw lines on the screen? Nah, I don't think that's true, sir. I don't find that that's to be true at all. I've seen your liveries that you've done for these guys, and they are absolutely fantastic. And I hope you're able to continue them. So now these guys that went out on track are delaying the race start because, well, I don't know why. Really jumping. Oy vey. And here we go, folks. We are back on track. Session starting here in just a moment. So no times listed this time, obviously, but Tom Foose, Will Green still going to share row 1. Fernandez and Kesar in row 2. Ottens and Anderson in row 3. Santos, Pickett, row 4. Gable, DJ in row 5. Feria, Silvares, row 6. James Nugget Beasing. Soul. Going to share row 7. Dunn and Chalice in row 8 with Steven now all by himself in row 9. Mandatory pits are set. Again, we saw a great battle up front with Tom and Will. Will Green diving into the pits very early, but that could have been because he is, you know, he's the one basically trying to admin the server today as well as race. So, you know, he probably shot into the pits to see what was going on or saw problems or was told of problems. So hopefully with those cleared up, we'll be able to see him stay out this time. Also, another probably disappointed person, Dylan Dunn, joining us today in the only Audi on track. Dunn getting himself from 16th all the way up to 9th at one point, 8th possibly. I can't exactly remember off the top of my head. But gonna have to see if he can repeat that feat this time. Just under 1 minute left to go now with today's race. Is that you, Huff?
It is me.
It's all blown up. Dude, all I know is this. It was the funniest thing ever because we're watching the race, we're watching the race, we're watching the race, and every driver gets disconnected at the same time, and I'm there by myself.
Yep.
Like, I thought my internet died, but I look over and I'm like, nope, stream's still running. I can still see chat. What's going on?
Yeah, for some odd reason, whenever Will did the pit requirement, it did not stick in the server for some reason. So
really,
we made the call to restart it because the team standings, the season's very close. So this race could mean everything.
Yep, 100%.
Unfortunate because we were 5 minutes into the race, but You know, is what it
Yeah.
is.
Is that why
Online
Will?
racing at its finest times.
Is that why Will was in the pits?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I think he
Okay.
had noticed it and dove in to kind of chat with me and see what the call was.
Gotcha.
So take two, ready to go.
Take two. Absolutely. As we get ready during our formation lap today. Drivers heading out one more time. 45 minutes of racing. I'm waiting to see if this track map overlay actually works. Like Feria this time starting from the pits. Anderson getting ready to go. Let's check in on him real quick, folks, before the race gets started here. There he is. Looking to get this kicked off for the second time today.
Who knows? Maybe Anderson remembers to hit drive this time.
Well, he's staying out on track. However, this time Feria ended up in the pits for the start of today's race. I have two drivers sitting back beginning. Huh. And the drivers start lining up in double file, getting ready to go. We lost a driver. Looks like we lost Dunn. Dunn now coming back into the pits as well. Obviously an issue on his end there. They will both be pit starting. We are off to the races though. Tom Foose well out ahead of Will Green this time going into T1. Will still losing that outside position to Fernandez, but now we're going to go side by side with Fernandez down into T2. Will tucking in behind. So Fernandez getting the jump up into P2 again. Oulton's moving himself up into fourth. Nugget earning himself a drive-through penalty at the start of today's race. Daniel Pickett moving up into P8. Ahead of Tobias Gable. Ottens and Keesar now going side by side into the corner. Otten's able to pull out just ahead, and the tires are on the track. But a big line of cars coming up behind Remco Ottens now. He looks to close out lap 1 in P4. Keesar dialing off into the Toolies, rejoining the track way back. Getting himself into P12. Pickett now into the pits. DJ into the pits as well. A lot of drivers into the pits. Whole bunch of drivers coming into the pits now. Tom Foose continues to lead with Fernandez right on his tail. Dylan Dunn suffering the luck of no force feedback now. Oulton's getting himself well ahead now of Santos, pulling away just a little bit, but Santos under pressure from Anderson. Looks like Will Green off into the grass. Tobias Gable following him and spinning behind him. Tobias chasing the rabbit around into the grass. Will Green losing position as well. Tobias still stuck, trying to get turned around, currently in P12. But Will Fernandez now off track and looking to rejoin with Remco shooting around him. Fernandez now back into P5 as Remco Ottens takes up P2. Tom Foose, however, gaining a significant lead now of over 6 seconds as Fernandez loses control. Santos under pressure from Anderson. Let's check in with Anderson real quick. That is a man concentrating right there, folks. Looking to tighten this up. Chalice now off track, dropping to P9. You know, nothing for nothing, but if I'm Nugget, I do not want to head into the pits for that drive-through yet, just because I've made up so many positions. I know I'm going to have to drop him off again. But he's not going to have a choice here in a moment. This is our current battle right here. Santos under pressure from Anderson. Anderson's car not looking the healthiest in the front. It almost appears as though he's got some damage he will have to make repairs for. James Beesing now into the pits to clear that mandatory drive-through. Chalice now into the pits as well. James Nugget Beesing only losing 2 positions. Coming back out in P8, however, now off track. Yellow flagged. And Santos continuing to have to play defense against Anderson. Fernandez now closing up behind them as well. With Santos less than a minute. Santos less than a second behind Remco Ottens. Ottens about to start feeling pressure as well, unless he can stretch himself out as these guys play defense. And there we see the pass around the outside from Fernandez. Diving into the pits. Let's go back and take a look at that pass from the Fernandez view. As we said, Anderson looking like he's got damage, so now diving into the pits, more than likely what's causing that. Allowing Fernandez to get himself back up into 4th. Now Fernandez will become Santos's nemesis. So far, if we look at this again, we're going to continue to keep our eyes right here with Fernandez getting around the inside of Santos now, are looking for that opportunity. Remco Otten's right there, hoping Santos can keep Fernandez at bay for as long as possible. But really a twist up here in our race today. You know, people, Will Green, Tobias Gable, guys we're used to seeing up front. Will Green currently in 12th, Tobias in 13th, DJ in 14th. Rob Kiesar in 15th. So a lot of early pits. And we'll have to see how that plays out. To see if these guys are going to be able to, you know, if they were doing the early pit or if they had problems out of those first 2 laps that they felt they needed to pit stop to get through. Remco Otten's thanking Santos right now for keeping Fernandez at bay. Fernandez starting this race in P2. Now, like we talked about during qualification today, you know, Oulton, a very tight track, very hard to make passes on, as a lot of these British tracks are. And so far, Santos really able to make that car as wide as possible to keep Fernandez at bay. Fernandez obviously having pace. He's catching him, but waiting for that opportunity when he can get around him without causing an issue. There it is. Fernandez able to make the pass on Santos, and now will set his sights. We jump back and look for it. So Fernandez finally able to make that move, getting himself up into P3. Now going to set his sights on Remco Otten's. And just to take a look while we have time, Tom Foose, our current leader, has stretched out to over 12 seconds ahead of Remco Otten's. Tom obviously with the pace today. Take a look back. DJ now under pressure from Kiesar. Porsche versus Porsche. Just to give you an update as well, folks, Will Fernandez now having currently set the fastest lap at a 1:33.7, a full 2 seconds faster than Remco Otten's. We're going to see them close in very quickly as they're starting to now. Tom Foose with a 1:33.8. Steven now into the pits. Remco is going to start feeling the pressure right here from Fernandez. Wild Zap Brannigan makes himself known in the chat. Welcome in, Zap. Welcome to everybody today. Thank you so much for joining me here. But Remco now going to look to make that McLaren just as wide as he possibly can. We've seen what Fernandez can do. Nice, clean passing. Happy to sit back and bide his time. He's got 32 minutes left to go in today's race. Needs to not be in any sort of hurry to get around Oulton's right now. Nugget under pressure from Pickett. Big Porsche Pickett. Oh, and gets spun. And all kinds of drivers. Anderson right there with him. James now spun and losing position, having to wait on the side of the track to see when he can get clear. Go back and take a look at DJ and Kesar again. DJ continuing to play defense in that 969 Porsche. Oulton Park has too many trees for the helicopter cam. We're going to jump back up front, though, and take a check on Ottens and Fernandez as this gap closes back up. Remco continuing to drive a great race. Very consistent so far, keeping Fernandez at bay. With that lap delta difference between the two of them, Otten's doing a fantastic job to keep him where he wants him, which is behind him. Fernandez applying that pressure. Remco going wide now. Will it give Fernandez the option to get inside it going into T1? He's got the push. There it is. Fernandez clearing into P2 just that quickly. Otten's looking to hold on, but Fernandez takes P2. Pickett now under pressure from Anderson. James Beesing all the way down into 15th from that incident. Very, very tough to take that. Now Pickett. Again, we're back to the Porsche. Now versus the Lexus. Take another jump back as well. Tobias Gable under pressure from Will Green now. They go side by side. Will and Tobias both climbing themselves back up the ranks after very early pit stops. Will Green able to clear that pass quickly and quietly around Gable. Gable, last week's winner at the Nürburgring, currently finds himself in 12th. Oh, and a problem is he cruises off into the dirt. That's not good at all. Want to lose some positions there. Pickett again continues to battle and fight off Anderson. But Tobias Gable dropping back to 12th, but Will Green getting himself back up into 10th now as Anderson and Pickett continue to battle. DJ and Keesar is well back here. Again, another Porsche battle. How's that meme go? The number of Porsches on this track is too damn high. Is that a thing? Can we make that a thing? Especially when we don't have Red Ryder here with the Porsche Destroyer to take him out. Again, Pickett and Anderson. Anderson continuing to apply pressure to Daniel Pickett. Anderson looking for any opportunity to get that Lexus around that Porsche there. You could almost see him straining to just try and get bumped around right through there. Go check on him real quick and see how he's feeling as he chases down that pink pig Porsche. Oh, and there it went. Anderson off into the Toolies, unable to keep control. Let's go back and take a look. Catches it on the inside of the corner, swings wide and off into the wall. That's a shame. B. Stevens now catching up. Gonna make the pass on Anderson. Anderson losing position. Even able to get around. And Anderson now again off into the grass, obviously having struggles controlling the vehicle after that wall bounce. Jump back up front though and check on standings real quick. Tom Foose continues to lead in that BMW M6. The M4 of Fernandez behind him, but now we're looking at a time of 20 seconds. Fernandez heads into the pits, however. Gonna clear that mandatory stop. Ottens, Remco Ottens, that puts Ottens back up into second. They'll still need to clear that stop, but a lot of these drivers undercut hard. This is what we talked about earlier. We look here, a lot of these guys from Gable to Will Green already clearing those stops. Fernandez now diving in, clearing his, and will remain to be seen how that plays for these guys as they come out. Fernandez already back out on track. 23.5 minutes left to go in today's race, folks. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here for BoX3 Motorsports. Season 1, the inception. Don't forget, come back next week. Barcelona finishes out Season 1, February 13th, 8 p.m. UTC, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As well, next Saturday, Xbox Season 2 starts up. February 12th, 7 p.m. UTC, 2 p.m. Eastern. We will start covering qualification at about 1:45 Eastern, so 6:45 UTC for the endurance race at Monza to kick off Season 2 of Xbox Racing here at BoX3 Motorsports. Yes, Red, we know they all work. Good man, Red. Hope your vacation's going well. Dunn was doing very well. Then we had issues. And now Dunn's not doing so well. Fernandez still holds on to that fastest lap today at a 1:33.7. Looking to get himself back up front. Currently running in 5th. Oulton, Santos, and Soul between him and Foose. Tom Foose running hard now at 24. And Soul is off track. Oh, goodness. Fernandez able to get around Soul very quickly. Along with a back marker. So Fernandez now finding himself back up into 4th. But as I was saying a moment ago, Tom Foose now with a 24-second gap as he starts to clear back markers. When does PC season start back up? So we've got Barcelona next week, Tier. I believe, talking to Huff, and I think he's still in the channel, but not sure if he's unmuted himself. Talking to Huff, there'll be a week off after that, right? Hold on. So 13th is Barcelona to finish out season 1. The 20th of February should be a week off, and we should be back here for PC racing on February 27th. But if you stay tuned to the channel, I will be throwing schedules up here soon that will be labeled between PC and Xbox, so you'll know when to tune in, catch all that action. Checking in on Remco Ottens. As we've seen a lot of drivers struggling today here at Oulton Park. Here, that's awesome to hear, man. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining BoX3 Motorsports. You're going to find some great racing. Obviously, some struggles here at Oulton today. Not a huge number of incidents, but more drivers losing control themselves. Self-inflicted, if I can use that phrase. Really causing a stir-up in the standings. But Will Green, if we go back and check, Will Green now running in 9th after that very early pit stop. To see if he is able to jump it up. If we take a look at our times again, only 4 drivers remain to make that mandatory pit stop. Fernandez having already cleared his. But with Oulton, Santos, and Foose in front of him needing to clear, it's going to be very interesting to see if Fernandez isn't our leader here very, very soon. Silvares now about to come under pressure from Will Green. Steven right there in front of him. Will very stable at this track. Did that early undercut pit stop, putting himself way back in the standings, but Will was our P2 qualifier today. David Soul into the pits now. Yeah, Fernandez has already pitted, Steadfast. Let me throw it up there again real quick. He has cleared that mandatory pit stop. Steven now under pressure from Silvares and Will Green. Will getting the outside cut on Silvares as Silvares makes a slip to the inside. And will now look to tighten up on Steven. Silvares right there with him, though, not going to give up that position easily.
All right, Molson, I'm back, dude. Sorry about the
Hey,
little
what's
break.
up, man? No, you're good, man.
I heard you talking about season 2 a minute ago. Somebody in the chat
Well,
asked.
yeah, Tier in chat was, just joined BoX3, was asking when season 2 was going to kick off. Now, my estimation was the 27th, because next week's Barcelona, you said there'd be a week off, so that's my guess. But you manage all that, so I can't, I don't want to speak out of turn. If it's a different date, let them know for sure.
You were close, man. We haven't actually made any official announcements yet, but we're looking to take a 2-week break off with the Endurance Series, the yet to be announced Endurance Series,
Okay.
picking up on Saturday, March the 5th. So the
Gotcha.
following week, March the 13th, is going to be the first day of, tentatively, the first day of season 2.
Okay,
Not
gotcha.
100% set in stone yet. We're still working on that. So.
All right. Yeah, because I know you're running a separate endurance series from the PC side, right? Versus the standard season.
Yep, that is correct.
Gotcha. But those endurance races are going to be actual, like, on the Xbox side, we're calling the 2 hours as endurance races, right?
Yep.
You're talking more 6-8 hour races, correct?
For sure. We're
Okay.
minimums of 4.
Lost you hard, dude. Lost you hard.
Nice.
Did you say minimum was 6 hours?
4 hour minimum.
4 hour minimum. Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Gonna be a lot of fun to watch. I really can't wait. As Tom Foose now into the pits. That bumps Remco Ottens and Santos back to the front of the line. Will Green makes his way around G. Stevens right there. Let's jump back and take a look. Will Green with the speed out of the chicane coming down into that corner, able to make that move very quickly. Excellent move on Will's part. Will, that putting him up into P6. Remco Ottens now leading. However, himself and Santos both needing to clear those mandatory stops. Fernandez, it looks like, not able to get around. He was able to get around, so Fernandez jumps into P3 ahead of Tom Foose with his pit stop already cleared. And not only that, but a 20-second gap back to Tom with only 15 minutes left to go. That is going to be a lot to make up here at the end. Yeah, Red, I think Huff's phone is worse than your internet was in the past. It's playing with his emotions. I don't think he likes it. Steven under pressure from Silvares. Santos, now Ottens into the pits. Santos takes up P1. Remco Ottens comes in to clear that mandatory stop. Look at Fernandez, his opportunity as we watch. He comes around to head for that start-finish line to now take up P2. A full 18, still 18 seconds ahead of Tom Foose. Now look, Tom is fast here, but we can't discount that Fernandez thus far has set the fastest lap at a 1:33.7. Foose is fastest with a 1:33.8. So obviously Tom has not caught up as of, at this point in as far as fastest lap, but he is well on pace as that time starts to close down. So waiting now for Santos to head into the pits, clear that mandatory stop. That's going to bump Fernandez up front. It's only a 19-second gap back. Tom Foose actually now running in fourth behind Remco Ottens. So Foose now needing to clear Ottens is going to make things very interesting coming to towards the end of this. Fernandez, again, we'll just throw the times up so everybody can see it. Fernandez running in second, and Remco Ottens 4 seconds back. Tom Foose 15 seconds back from Ottens, a total of 37 seconds off our leader. With only Santos left to clear that pit stop, we should see Fernandez jump up front, but Otten's there to threaten. And Tom Foose needing to make up a lot of time in the last 13 minutes of this race today. Man, who's cutting grass? There's 18 inches of snow on the ground. At least for me. I don't know about Huff, but there is for me. So far, the undercut on pit stops working out in Fernandez's favor. The only place snow is in the refrigerator. That means you got to unplug it and defrost it for a little bit. I have one of those behind my bar. It doesn't self defrost, so you just unplug it for a couple hours, leave the door open. Check in with him because we know he had force feedback problems. Dylan Dunn is on track, currently running in 17th. It's an awful shame because, you know, he was doing so well before we had the server reset. But, you know, force feedback cuts out and all of a sudden it's gone. That's just terrible. Oh, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. I would love it. It is, I could tell you, about 25 degrees here, Manu, where I am. And Tom Foose currently running in 4th. Santos going to stretch this out. Currently sitting 17 seconds up. So Fernandez is closing this gap. Right? Fernandez is very quickly, not, well, quickly, but he's closing the gap down. The amount of time Santos has to be in the pits is getting shorter and shorter and shorter with every lap. You have to wonder at what point he's going to jump in and try to get back out. Now, I don't think 18, 17 seconds is anywhere near enough time. But I'd want to come back out as close as possible to Fernandez. As we look, Ottens goes yellow and is off into the grass. Tom Fuso now catching up quickly as Ottens has to wait for back markers to clear. Getting out on track, pushing Tom Foose into the sand. Oh. But now Tom Foose is on the back end of Remco Ottens. And we are going to get a battle here at the end of the day, as no, we're not, as Ottens lets Tom Foose on by, knowing that re-entry cost him time. So Tom Foose now into 3rd, Remco Ottens in 4th. Santos now into the pits. Fernandez will take up P1. As Santos clears that stop, coming out back on track. Ahead of Tom Foose now by just under 6 seconds. That should clear all of our mandatory pit stops today with just under 9 minutes left to go. Pierre and Kisar now going to go battle. Kisar applying pressure to Fiera. This has been tightening up. I've been keeping an eye on it as we watch these other drivers. Fighting for P11. Esar diving right in, trying to drive the front of that Porsche under the wing. Yeah, it did, Steadfast. You're right, but it's so hard because I mean, you look as a driver, you know, there are a number of tools at your disposal to know when people are coming. I think Remco did the best he could, stay out of the way of even the back markers. I think he probably thought he had enough time to get back out ahead of Foose without causing any kind of incident. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, right? So some of those are judgment calls. You know, you think, oh, he's 6 seconds. That's enough time for me to get out and get up to speed. I mean, or, you know, even if he's going to pass me, I can at least get back up, you know, to close to speed, let him go around and then drive my race. It's really a shame when you see something like that happen, but I don't think it was anything, you know, I don't think Remco was looking to jam it out there. Just one of those cases where you think you've got enough time and maybe you don't.
That's whenever triples or VR comes in handy.
I'm sorry, what?
That's when triples or VR comes in handy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, 100%. You know, I do iRacing now in VR. Once I have my wheel back, I'll be doing it again. And absolutely, because if you get spun, you can just look to the side and see if anybody's coming. It's it's really nice. So we watch Fiera and Kisar continue to battle. Tobias Gable now about to be under pressure from Dole. The SAP version? You guys should absolutely come in here and do an SAP version for us. 100%. Dap's always too busy racing or being in Fort Lauderdale where it's warm. In which case, I don't want to hear from him. I gotta say, you know, obviously some great racing we've seen today. Fiera and Keese are now both catching up on Soul. As this starts to get very tight here at the end of our race, just over 5 minutes left to go. We're just a few laps away from being done. Don't be jealous. I'm very jealous. Trust me. Cold. Sick of the cold. But I gotta say, driver of the race, and not because he, like, as we watch Keesar look to just get through any way he can. Farrier making that car as wide as possible as he cuts way back to the left. Defend that position. Look at that. It doesn't get much closer than that. I wouldn't want my hand back there. Keesar's got the speed on this, on him, right? I mean, we see it every time. He's doing everything he can to hold back and not look to make that pass. But as I was saying, I think, you know, driver of the day today, Dylan Dunn. I mean, the guy comes in, he's subbing in for someone and is unable to, you know, does great in the first race that we had, where we had to do the reset, comes back, loses force feedback, and is still out driving right now. Right? So, I mean, who does that? Like, I'd have been done half an hour ago. Are you kidding me right now? No force feedback? Oh, and I don't know what that was. Asar spins off into the dirt going through Feria. Wow. And he's just sitting there, not sure what happened. But we got to jump up front because Santos now defending from Tom Foose as we come down to the end of this race, just under 3 minutes left. That was great racing. It's just weird how he was able to slide through with no, didn't look like there was any real contact. He just slid through him. Must have been some kind of disconnect issue. We're going to watch Tom Foose now looking for P2 before this race is over. Tom sitting on pole position today, wanting to get back up as close as he can. Fernandez continues to lead over Santos by 16 seconds. Not going to stop Tom from looking to make up every position he can. Looking for the inside and can't quite find it. Santos defending well. Thank you for dropping in, Lemon Lids. Glad you're here. Maybe one more lap after this one. But right now, Santos just looking to hold on and play defense against Tom Foose. Not an easy feat. Particularly coming in this close to the end of the race, Tom going to look to make a move he might not normally make to try and pull in P2 before time runs out. Well, man, I don't know why that got blocked, but there we go. I don't like that weird math. That's what it is. Gonna bring it down to the wire now. Santos continue to play that defense against Tom Foose.
The leader has finished the race.
Our leader is done. Will Fernandez finishes as the winner today. But we got a nail biter right down here for P2 coming into the end. Santos holding on. Able to take the inside of that corner as they come across. And that will end it. Santos able to hold on to P2 ahead of Tom Foose. A great battle at the end. Let's jump back. Tobias Gable under pressure from Feria now. Feria going a little wide now and giving Tobias a little bit of breathing room as we finish out. Oulton's finishing 4th, Pickett in 5th, Will Green in 6th. Oh, people are leaving. Throw it up there, though. There you have it. Fernandez, Santos. Tom Foose was in 3rd, but he left, so it takes him off the list. Remco Oulton's in 4th. Pickett, Will Green are your top 5 for today. Excellent racing from everyone. Obviously some snafus when it came to the server, but there's not much you can do about that. It does happen. Off, are you still there, my man?
Yeah, I'm here.
Losing you, dude. But thank you, man. I want to appreciate you staying on here with me. I know it wasn't easy with your phone connection issues and everything.
We tried.
We try every time, right? But thank you so much for being here, my man. Thank you everyone for watching. We will be back again next week, next Sunday at Barcelona for PC ACC racing. Next Saturday, Xbox racing, starting at Monza. An endurance race, 2 hours of Xbox racing next Saturday. Such a fantastic time. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Apologies, and thank you for sticking through the server issues, because those things happen, right? It's online. It's not real life. You know, Oulton Park doesn't magically reset under everybody during a real race. It does happen here. I want to thank everyone for sticking with us. We're BoX3. My name's Adam. He's He's Kevin Huffman, and we might not be able to hear him, so I'm going to say his name just to be sure everybody hear him. You guys have yourselves a wonderful weekend and a great week. And again, don't forget to come back here next weekend for Xbox and PC racing at its finest from BoX3. Thank y'all. You have a great weekend.